So I must say it was a bit of a shock when the Audeze MM-100 turned up at the door, because I thought I was receiving a gaming headset, but to my surprise there was a very high-end set of headphones in the box. A bit confused, but anyway, here I am with a stunning set of headphones playing various games on my PC. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because in a way I'm not really a huge audiophile, and I already use quite a nice set of Beyerdynamic cans on my gaming rig at the moment, so yeah, let's look at these high-end headphones from the perspective of a gamer who also makes YouTube videos like this one. So what do you actually get in the box? Well, to be honest with you, not much at all. Now you get the headphones themselves, of course, and the cable, which does come in two parts. The first is the 3.5mm to 1/4" jack, and the second is an adapter to turn that 1/4" jack into a 3.5mm jack. You do get a case, which is very basic, and the material isn't great, but it's got some branding on there, and you do get a handwritten authenticity card and some info on the driver download that I didn't use whatsoever. Now I'm currently using mine with my Stream Deck Plus, plugging the headphones directly into the back of the XLR dock, and it does easily drive it to produce a very loud sound at max volume. Now trailing the cable around the back of my desk was absolutely fine, and it didn't snag. Now it does feel like it has been coated in some kind of tangleless material, unsure of what it's technically called, but it does feel like rubber. And it's okay, but nothing really special. The MM-100s are planar magnetic headphones that feel comfortable around the ears thanks to some very substantial padding on the over-ear ear cups. However, I must say that the crown did give me some issues. It uses a suspension bridge, which can be set at 3 different levels. However, at the lowest, it wasn't great at all for my head, and at the highest, it was definitely too narrow. So I had to keep them right down the middle, how they came in the box. However, I don't feel that there was enough tension here either to really suspend the band above my head. They're an absolutely stunning bit of kit to look at though, and the mixture of silver and black around the outside, and again the same with the headband, and also the grille on either side of the headphones as well, does look very decent. They do feel absolutely solid and weighty, and a nice touch as well is the fact that you can plug the cable into any side of the headphones, so the cable won't get in the way of your working environment. Having no controls on the headphones either just makes them look really super clean, and there's also no audible creaks either, especially around the connection between the cup and the headband, as they do rotate somewhat depending on your head size and ear position, but the hinges too also feel smooth but not really loose. Now I must say though that the clamping force here is very nice and comfortable, and yes, while it is I think mainly down to the softness of the ear cups themselves, they're not going anywhere if you are going to be shaking your head back and forth. They're just stuck there forever. The headphones, I will warn you, are also very heavy, coming in at 475 grams. They're made from magnesium and steel, and yes, they do feel and look super premium this way, but I think this does add to the slight discomfort that I have experienced, especially with the crown. Now, however, I will say that for a commute for an hour or so here or there, they're absolutely fine. But if you're playing long gaming sessions, then you may need to reassess whether these will be the headphones for you. And yes, I know they're not necessarily for gaming, but still, like I said at the start of this video, here we are. They use planar magnetic drivers, which I must say are absolutely solid, and playing a game of Helldivers 2 was really quite mind-blowing actually, especially if you're leaning on the side of higher volumes. Proper punchy gunfire, explosions sounded nice and rich, and the scream of aliens attacking and being blown up was all really nice and immersive. Now being open back headphones too felt like the sound carried a little wider than a more traditional gaming headset, which was again really nice and immersive in the game. This also did help somewhat with the placement of enemies during a game of Overwatch, as I was able to quite clearly hear footsteps cutting through the rest of the noise of a busy arena to give instruction to my teammates on flanking positions. However, being the nature of the game, it does lack a lot of bass, and this time I was reaching for the volume control because at louder volumes and a tinny battlefield, it became a little uncomfortable. At mid-volume levels though, it was really nice to be able to hear that much detail coming from the game, and although I haven't downloaded it or even played it much myself, I can imagine it being quite useful in a game of something like Warzone or even Counter-Strike 2, where footsteps and placement is pretty important. To throw some specs at you, you've got planar magnetic drivers with a Flusor magnetic array structure, neodymium M50 magnets with an ultra-thin Uniforce diaphragm. They have a frequency response of 20 Hz to 25 kHz, which is huge, and a maximum SPL of less than 120 decibels. What was surprising though was the 18 ohms impedance, which felt low to me, seeing as I had so much trouble driving an older pair of Beyerdynamic headphones with my Wave XLR dock. But here, these Audeze MM-100 headphones are so loud, and even I, who generally likes my audio up a bit louder, was reaching for the volume knob at times on my Stream Deck Plus just to turn it down because they became a little uncomfortable. So look, I know this video is probably going to be a complete waste of time for many of you out there, because you're going to want to hear all about how these headphones sounded when playing the highest quality music tracks available on the web. But unfortunately, that's just not me. I play games, I make YouTube videos about tech like this one, I edit those videos and they sounded good doing that, and I play some music while I work my 9 to 5. Can I appreciate that these headphones for my needs sounded absolutely amazing? Yes, I absolutely can. But would I spend £400 on a set of these for my needs? No, probably not. They're a nice to have, and they're a luxury for sure. And if you did want to spend the cash, you're not going to be disappointed whatsoever. But do make sure you've got some decent music to feed into them.